check. Can you guys still hear, see, and everything? I guess yes. Okay, I see some thumbs ups. Well, thank you so much for joining, everyone. Welcome to the Victoria Cycle PTG, the Project Technical Gathering for the OpenStack Manila community. This is our first meeting for this week. We have several such video meetings, and these have been posted on an Etherpad. We are going to be using two different Etherpads, as confusing as that can be. Uh, we begin with our regular planning Etherpad. I've pasted that in the chat for you. Um, of course, we're not going to be using this Etherpad to take down minutes of the meeting. And that is going to be at the official Etherpad that's been shared on the PTG website. So just use this planning thing to as scratch at this point, scratch space at this point, to record any more topics that you want to talk about. Do you want to put things on your on the backlog and such for me to notice and schedule into our next meeting? But if you'd like to make changes to this current meeting, please speak up, raise your hand, type into the chat, do whatever to get my attention, and that's how we'll do it. First off, we will begin with a round of introductions, and we're probably going to be doing this a lot through this week, as and when people join and leave. I know a few folks are not going to be joining us today and right now, but they'll be joining us maybe in the meeting in a bit, or tomorrow, or even on Friday for the first time. So we'll just go around the room and introduce ourselves. But before that, if on the PTG Etherpad, the main one, there are some house rules that have been posted. So please take a look. Now I'm going to just recap some of them for everybody. One is I should have done this before I hit the record button, but with your permission, I'd like to record this meeting and everything beyond this. And the reason is we share these recordings with the community after, and so these are valuable to us um, as ways to maintain our open source nature. And through this through the course of this week, we'll also be doing a bunch of things like taking random screenshots, because we've been asked to take team photographs, and since this is a virtual PTG, there's no other way to do that. So if you want a particular moment to take a photograph, please let me know, or else I'll be clicking the screenshot button on my computer whenever I see people making crazy faces or something. So please do consider using your camera at all times, but we absolutely understand that if you don't want to, and it's absolutely fine as well. So it's just nice to see you all, and definitely nice to share this for posterity in terms of that recording. But of course, no compulsions there. And do turn off your microphone if you're not speaking, which all of you are already doing, which is great. And if you'd like to interrupt me or interrupt anybody, please do use, I believe there's a raise hand or something feature. If there isn't, just type into the chat, and you can get people's attention that way. If not, if I see somebody crazily going up and jumping, I'll obviously try and interrupt the speaker for you. But that's it, I guess. Is there anything else that we need to talk about? Nope. All right. Before we begin with introductions, I did want to thank you all a lot for joining. A lot of stuff is going on in our world right now. I don't want to recap that for this thing, but in general, I think we're definitely privileged and thankful for being able to gather as a community. And I mean, definitely we want to voice um, this community's involvement with the generic world as is, for the number of lives that are lost due to a pandemic, for the number of lives that are lost needlessly due to other things that are going on. So definitely take a moment and pray for those souls, as well as thank you so much for still joining us this morning. And with that, let's begin with what we usually do at the beginning of these meetings, just do some really embarrassing introductions. I'll start with myself. My name is Gautam Pacharavi. Um, and uh, I'm the PTL project team lead for the OpenStack Manila project, and I'm in this role for, I think this is my second release, the upcoming release, and we're also privileged to be joined by our past PTL, Tom Barron, who led this community for over 3 releases. He can whack me and correct me if that was wrong. Um, but being PTL, I realized, I mean, it was a lot of tribal knowledge, and we actually this cycle, I am glad to share. We led with trying to document a lot of that knowledge. All the crazy stuff that PTLs do, we try to unravel that and put it up in one place. So kudos to that. But otherwise, I work as a software engineer at Red Hat, and so do a lot of folks on this call. So I'll let them introduce themselves to you, uh, and we can all be on first name basis after. Um, and I'll call out the person perhaps, and you can start talking. Tom?
Hi, as Gautam said, I was the PTL, but before him, but probably a lot of people don't know that Gautam was more involved in Manila than me for longer. And when I was PTL, I was always asking Gautam, what do you do now? So we finally got somebody in there who really knows what he's doing, and it's awesome. I love being a member. I just want to endorse what Gautam said also about it's great to have the software, but it's also great to be part of an open community, a worldwide community where we don't where we respect one another and cross boundaries and work together. And that's what we're all about. That's all for me
Thank you,
right now.
Tom. Thanks, Tom. Douglas?
Okay, I'm Douglas Byram. I'm one of the core reviewers from Manila project. I'm work at NetApp as a software developer and have been working with OpenStack Manila around 3 release for now. So the interest of these PTG sessions is to discuss some new features that we are planning to go to implement in the future release. So hope to have good sessions.
Awesome. Thank you, Victoria.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I am Victoria Martinez de la Cruz. I am a software engineer at Red Hat, also a co-reviewer for the Manila team, and I have been in Manila about 5 years now. I'm based in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and yeah, I'm really happy that even though we couldn't have the gathering live like we usually do on the events, and we can share beers all together, at least we're having this opportunity to have this now. So I'm grateful for that. I'm really happy to see you all. Thanks.
Thank you, Victoria. Carlos?
Hi all, my name is Carlos Silva. I am one of the co-reviewers of the Manila team. I also work at NetApp as a software engineer, and I have been working with Manila for 4 releases or so. So it's a pleasure to be here with you. That's it, right?
Thank you, Maury.
Hi everyone, my name is Mari. I'm based in Estonia and I'm very new here. I started as outreach intern in December with the Manila team, and now I'm just sticking around, trying to be helpful still. And I recently joined City Network, so I'm working in the education team. And yeah, this is my first PTG, if I didn't mention that already. Anyway, super happy to be here. This is an awesome team and so nice to see the faces I haven't seen yet. So, and of course, the faces I've seen already. So thanks.
Great, thank you. Thank you for joining us and welcome. This excited that we're part of your first PTG and this is your first session. All right, hi, Xeen.
Hi, hello everyone. I work in Manila about 1 year. I'm a new contributor in this community, but I work about self NFS or CIFS about 2 years. I'm very glad to make some contributor to Manila. I like it. As I hope we can work together to make Manila better and better. My English is poor, so I hope we can write something here, so I can to translate it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for that reminder. We definitely love working with you. Yes, your English is great, but for the sake of minutes, we are going to have to type down everything, folks. So don't forget that we're not doing the introductions. Maybe I'll go back and fill those up again. But if you'd like whatever you're trying to say, feel free to type it up in the Etherpad. And also if you'd like to help keep minutes, it's a collaborative etherpad. Just go for it. Type, type everything and anything that you hear. Awesome. Thank you. Lucio?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my name is Lucio. I work at NetApp as a software engineer. This is my third PTG, and most of the time I'm working for Cinder, but sometimes I take a look in the patches. Hey, there's an animal in your background. And sometimes I participate on Manila meetings and take a look on some patches to review. And it's nice to meet you. Let's have a good PTG.
Thank you. Andre?
Hello all, can you hear me? So my name is André Beltrami. I work at NetApp since September of 2019. I am really new here also. It's my first PTG and I'm glad to be here and nice to meet you all.
Awesome. Thank you. Daniel?
Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel Arthur. I work at NetApp since January. This is my first PTG. I'm glad to meet all of you. And I work since Ussuri, so January. That's all. And nice to meet you.
Very excited that it's your first PTG. Thank you for joining us. All right. I don't know your first name. Hold on, I do. I'm seeing just the nick. Hold on. That would be rude. All right, okay, I'm going to have to spell out the nick. It's Raildo, R-A-I-L.
Oh, it's talking about me.
Yes.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, it's a different name here as well, so no worries. Yeah, it's called Hayodo. It's like an H at the beginning.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
so
Okay.
hello everyone. I'm Actually, I'm not like so close to the Manila team, but I work more with like the security topics across OpenStack. I have been working with OpenStack around like 5 or 6 years from now, most related like with Keystone and other security topics. I was talking before with Gotham about one of the topics that we'll be discussing that are regarding the default policies. So I'm a red hatter. I work remotely from Brazil. I believe that is my like 6th or 7th PTG. Not sure. It's been a while. But hopefully I will be more close to the Manila team. And if you guys have any questions or anything that I can help with the security side or any suggestion, please feel free to poke me around.
Absolutely.
Glad to be here.
Yep. Thank you so much for joining. Magnus?
Yeah, hello. Magnus, working for City Network. I'm gonna kind of look in a little and see. I'm working on our OpenStack offerings and looking into a little bit where we could potentially contribute and to look a little bit at where Manila is going. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Are you listening? Okay.
Yeah.
I will turn on my camera. I'm Felipe Rodrigues. I work at February. So as Daniel, it's my PG as well. And I haven't contributed for this list, but I will be more. And let's have a and it's also my first contact with open source project for this last release, but I hope that's it. Have a good.
Great. We didn't catch much of that. I think we probably have bandwidth issues on your end, but thank you
Okay.
for no problem. Can you hear us all right?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, cool. I think yeah, when you turn on video, it might be creating some bandwidth issues on your end, but we can hear you well now. Awesome. Thank you for joining us, and I heard this is your first PTG as well, so excited. Irol, if I'm not butchering that name. Oh, no problem. Absolutely. Got your chat, and thank you for joining us. If you'd like, you can type out an introduction to yourself on the chat. We can see that as well. Vida.
Hi, I'm Vida Harian. I'm a part of the Red Hat Manila squad, and I joined Red Hat about a year ago, and I am new to OpenStack, open source community, and this whole line of work. I've been filling the role of Bugzarina for the past 6 or 7 months. I kind of used my background in embedded software development, managing bugs and escalations to try to bring in some ideas and make it a little exciting to get people interested into this task. And I'm so glad to be a part of the team. And this is my first PTG.
Excited that it's your first PTG. Thank you so much for your work as the bugs are. And Janos.
Hello, I'm Janos Aggelopoulos. I work for ZRNet. We're cloud providers for academia in Greece. And this is my first PTG. It's very nice to meet you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, cool. Thank you all for your introductions. I think we covered everyone. If I missed somebody, please let me know. I went by the boxes and their arrangement in my on my Zoom. Of course, that's going to be different in yours. If we didn't, let's move on to the very first thing, which is the Ussuri cycle retrospective. And the retrospective Etherpad is posted on the main Etherpad. It's linked out of there. And I see some of you have already put in some notes over there. I began with some questions that I wanted to ask of you. So we'll get to all of those. If you need a couple of minutes to fill this out, please take them now. But we'll get started with Node right off the top. So bug scrubbing. So I mean, as a introduction to folks that are not aware, we maintain our bugs on Launchpad, and let me link you guys. So we've always done this as in this community. There are other bug trackers that other projects in OpenStack use, such as I mean Storyboard and elsewhere, but we've stuck to Launchpad for a lot of releases now. So if you look up the bug list on Launchpad, you can see about 133 results, but that was not the story always. I mean, of course, we expect that to keep changing as people file bugs and we keep writing more software. But the point I was getting to was that the bug backlog was getting a little out of hand for us, and so we had to institute a scrubbing mechanism over I think the past couple of releases that we've had a formal process where we've taken a look at every new bug as a community and started triaging it if one of us didn't already get to it. So every community meeting that happens on Thursdays at 1500 UTC, we discuss new bugs that are untriaged, and they could be from other community members or folks that are just using Manila but opening a bug report on something they saw. So I mean, right now, Vida is our bug czar, and what she does is she goes through this list of bugs and she keeps them at a healthy state, right? She brings them up in meetings. She brings up new bugs in meetings, helps us triage those bugs, target them to a milestone, get somebody's attention to try and work on these bugs and to squash them. So at the moment, I'd like to actually go back and see how we are doing with this process and what improvements we can make to that to this process. Vida, do you have something to say?
Sure. I've been keeping track of basically what we have at hand, which is the open bugs. We don't do anything fancy like arrival rate and fix rate, but the key is right now to drive down the backlog. And I have to say that in most situations we track defects that have not been active or there hasn't been any activity in over a year. And recently when I did the stats on our backlog, we had only less than 40 defects, 40 bugs that were currently active in the last over the last year. So that's really a good sign. And the other thing, the improvements that we made was we added a automated expiry feature that's in Launchpad that basically goes in and scrubs the bugs, and anything that's incomplete, it automatically expires it over a period of time. And that's helped for the first time. Like we started with around 250 bugs and driven it down to less than 130. And I just noticed this morning that there were 3 bugs that were in expiry bin. So we're continuing to scrub this on a weekly basis, and it's been very, very helpful. I'll throw in some numbers actually on this Etherpad later, but the way that we track the bugs are in terms of high, medium, low, and we try to keep the highs at the, as much as possible, approach those early and quickly, and kind of stay on top of them. And currently we have in our open defects, we have one high, which is actively being worked on, and about 32 defects in medium state and 35 in low state. And the other ones are wish list and undecided, which are lower category. The other improvements that we made was to help track all the discussions about a bug, like on a weekly in the community meeting, we go over a handful of bugs, and what we did is added links to all these discussions for each bug so that it's all comprehensive. And when somebody goes to triage a bug or fix it, they can just go back to a history of all the discussions in one location. Makes it easier. And some of the other information that might help us drive down the backlog is these are future improvements, which I'm hoping that we can work with the community to implement, is kind of low-hanging fruits. There's 25 bugs, for example, which are documentation bugs, and these could be resolved with, not too much effort. So this is also the kind of data analysis that I've been doing, is how do we approach this backlog systematically so we can drive it down and have more contribution from, from the community. So that's just a kind of a mile high summary of everything that's going on with the bugs.
Yeah, thank you. That's a pretty good summary. Certainly, I mean, wanted to share that across. Folks that show up at the IRC meetings from week to week, you see them, you see these bugs being discussed. This is exactly what we're trying to do. What VIDA is shooting for is to maintain those bugs at a much lower number than we see that is overwhelming to all of us, right? And the other is to try and get us attention to some of these bugs that have been languishing for a long time, because we said we were waiting for some milestone or some particular response from a particular contributor or something like that. So it's pretty cool that this process is actually working in reducing our bug backlog, solving our distractions at the same time. So we'll actually move on to the next few topics, and then talk about what's required in terms of improvements. One, like Vida said, we definitely need help in closing out a lot of these low-hanging fruit. We as a community have done strived quite hard to tag bugs as low-hanging fruit, so we can attract new contributors with things that are easier to contribute. But at the same time, we might actually be creating long lists of these. So we got to keep those lists in check from time to time. So we'll definitely talk about that topic again, because we're talking about bug scrub days, bug squash days, and documentation squash days later in this PTG. But is there anything else that folks wanted to add to that? Cool.
I just want to add.
Yep.
Sorry, Gotham. I've noticed that recently the current bugs, the incoming bugs, are being taken care of pretty quickly, and that's really exciting. Like before I get a chance to even bring it up in the meetings, I see someone's assigned it to themselves, and it's in progress, and that's really been very encouraging. Just wanted to kudos to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. A way to do that is, if you're reporting the bug and you have triage permissions, you should please go ahead and do and self triage. Obviously, this will greatly help us. And you can bring up the bug in the meeting if you'd like some more discussion on the bug yourself. And the other aspect is I mean, if you can't self triage, always I mean, the group on Launchpad is public. You can reach out to anybody else on that group and help get that bug triaged. And yeah, that's about it, I think. Cool. Are we ready to move on to the next one over here, which was I'm going to club these two into one thing. We saw quite a lot of community maintenance, community leadership changes. I, excuse me about that annoying crow. I hope you're not actually getting the full blast of it on over this mic. I see smiles. Okay. All right. The crow says hi. All right. And he's chatty this morning. Anyway, so we did quite a few improvements, things that we thought were long pending, and we acted upon something that we discussed during the Ussuri PTG itself, which was that I mean, we have like most open source projects a problem of dwindling maintainer population, and it's ebbs and flows of how projects work, I guess, and folks transitioning out of jobs, changing companies, or even just not focusing on this project at this moment. And so that kind of creates a backlog of reviews. I mean, probably people that are contributing are frustrated because they're not getting reviews on time on their patches and such. So besides making, you know, we've pruned the core team now. We had to say goodbye to a couple of people, but at the same time, we were happy to say hi to 3 of them this cycle, 3 new core reviewers. And I personally think that list should just keep being as dynamic, grow and shrink as dynamically. And so if you folks want to be part of the core team, all you need to do is just let one of us know. And what I mean, we've kind of documented what it takes to be part of the core maintainers team. There is a certain bit of responsibility, but it's mostly fun, and we certainly want to see more and more people doing that. So if you want to be on the core reviewer team, just get in touch with one of us, because we've in the past done many cool things like holding you know, some one-on-one sessions and mentoring folks on reviews and such, and trying to get you you know, ready to be a maintainer. And of course, that does not tie you in any way, in case you feel like you know, it's time to you know, stop working on this project, or you have a job change or something like that. Just let us know. Again, we'll take you off that maintainers list. It's really expecting it to be that dynamic here on out. Does anybody have anything to say and add to those topics? I take that as a no. Just as we were doing that, I see new folks join us. If you wish, please let us know who the folks are, who you guys are, and on the chat perhaps, and we can say hi to you. All right, let's move on to the next section over there, which is what needs improvement. We spoke about one of these, which is the bug fix.
Excuse me, Gautam, though, I think you elided over one of the topics there. I didn't realize. I hate to criticize.
Okay, sorry.
But you jumped right over the topic on PTL work. And I think we had some constructive criticism for you. So I would like you to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is, hooray! No, I mean, Gautam has been just an awesome PTL. It's a lot of work. And I know from having done it, and I just listed a few things here that are involved. I don't want to scare anybody else off from taking the job. Um, um, but you know, it involves vision and seeing where we're going to go, and working on that. It involves day-to-day detail and keeping track of it and driving the project from kind of a managerial perspective. Um, a lot of community engagement, cross-project engagement, engagement with people that are interested in taking on Manila, and doing things like mentoring cores and contributors. And Gotham does a fantastic job. He's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere as a former PTL, so I'm not trying to scare anybody off by saying how awesome he's done. He'll be around to help people if he ever decides to get, you know, do something else for a cycle. Just as we talked about dynamic core membership, I think, you know, PTL can be that way too. But thank you so much, Gotham, for what you've done.
Awesome. You're welcome. I didn't gloss over it. I thought we covered it in terms of how dynamic that should be, right? Because, oh, that's that's some cheering going on in the background. But I mean, being PTL is no different than being a core team member, and that's how we've envisioned it to be. But of course, over all of these releases, you know, PTLs are tagged with doing a bunch of things that are kind of you know, that add to all of these tribal knowledge things, right? And so we started documenting them for the very purpose that we could drive this as a team rather than led by a single person. And so I'm absolutely happy to mentor anyone that wants to step up to be a PTL, and hopefully we're going to reduce your workload by doing all of this as a team. And highly appreciate the comments, Tom. Thank you. All right. So we spoke about documentation bugs languishing and bug fix improvements, and one other topic that I wanted to touch about with respect to bugs is rotating the bugs are role. So I mean, we've had this discussion in the past. It takes quite a lot right now to try and step up to be a bug czar. You'll have to you know, dedicate your time to looking at these new bugs and to chase people to get them triaged and stuff. So so we're incredibly thankful for the selfless work that's going on. Definitely thanks to Vida that we keep our bug backlog in a sane way. But at this time, I did want to this thing to check with all of you if we should go ahead and rotate this role, and to basically have more folks, you know, get into this habit of you know, helping bug triages in general. And what are your thoughts around that? For Vida, it's been I mean, not speaking for her, I don't want to speak for her. She's here. But I did want to say, I mean, one of the things that I thought it was going to be was a hell of a lot of learning experience, right? So if you're new to the project, nothing easier than getting started with bugs, and certainly get noticed by the community by helping triage these bugs as well as fixing them.
I just wanted to add, if anybody wants to contribute or be a part of this, there are some criterias, and you know, Gotham and I will be happy to share all that information with you. It's a really good way, since I'm new to OpenStack in Manila, it's really helped me with learning a lot more about the product that otherwise I wouldn't have. So you know, I'll be glad to continue doing it, but I think, like Gotham said, it's a community involvement. So.
Absolutely. I mean, it's folks, if you want to get involved, please talk to us. me or Vida, and we can get you started. Maybe even do this on a rotational basis as part time, and then we can see about switching it to a more formal schedule at that time. I don't want to run over time. We scheduled only 40 minutes for this talk, but there are a couple of more items added at the end that I want to get to. Manila UI needs more attention. Vicky, was that your item?
Yes, I can take this one. So we have been discussed about this one in previous PTGs, and it's probably no novelty for you all that we are kind of getting back on the support we have in Manila UI. I myself took the action item to actually get my hands on that. We need to update microversion support, and we need to add some feature support in there. But I cannot do everything on my own. So I would like to call if anybody is interested in contributing to the dashboard and well, getting your hands on Horizon, Django, and all that fancy visual stuff. Please let me know, and we can try to look how we can at least get to the current microversion we have for Manila API, and then see how we can enhance it. But definitely we need to put more love to the Manila UI. So that's it.
Great. Yep, and we've even broken up the work into catching up microversion by microversion, and thank you for your work on that, Vicky. Thanks, Maury. Thanks, Hayaxin. But we certainly need more folks looking at it, and maybe some of these microversions are not hard to catch up to, but some of them definitely require some effort. And the next one on there is mentoring, and we are looking for more outreachy and GSOC involvement. Vicky again.
Yes, so this one I think is really important. We had previous interns in Orichi, in Manila. We have had several projects, and it had turned out to be a great experience for us. We have a lot of interesting features developed as part of that effort, and it helped us to get more clean and new views and fresh views on what we are doing. So I really want to encourage you to do mentoring. It's not so time consuming. It's not so hard. You can do it. If you are already a contributor, you can do it. And it's we have a lot of things to do in Manila. So if you can think about a project and you want to maybe join in a next round for Richie or Google Summer of Code, let me know and I can help you out to draft a proposal for an internship, and I can share how is to mentor. So maybe if you have a doubt, you can clear it up. And hopefully, well, for this cycle, for the next cycle, get more interns working with us. I think it's very important both for us and for the people you are going to help to start contributing to Manila and to an open source community. And yeah, that's it.
No, can't emphasize that better than that. We've had some amazing outreach interns. Privileged to have Maury join us today after she completed her internship with us. And she did some really kick-ass work with the OpenStack client and a lot of bug fixes in Manila. So we're definitely as a community looking forward to continuing this practice of gathering internships and providing them with a great learning experience through these sponsored programs like Outreachy and Google Summer of Code. If folks have other ideas like these, always welcome to let us know. There are a lot of things to be done, a lot of cool things to be done, and internships teach a lot to the interns as well as their mentors. Okay, So a couple of items over there that we should probably table at this point, and move directly to the discussion items, because I added them. Uh, so what would you what would you change about the pace of the project, and do is the current state of management and maintenance of the project, you know, going well and stuff? So are there any thoughts on that that we need to capture uh, for this cycle? Remember, silence can mean two things. Great. I see folks typing in that the docs are definitely a huge improvement than what we had. Just for reference, I did want to link it up over here. So we created a new project doc page in this cycle. So that's probably where anyone new to contributing, and even seasoned contributors that's where they should be starting. And right at the bottom of that page, we lead out to a PTL specific section, and we for the first time documented a bunch of things with respect to Manila PTLing. So please take a look, and of course these are living documents, they can keep changing, to suggest any improvements as well.